Hey folks, Triple Crown here, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. This is a round 2 Operation SF, which stands for San Francisco. Here we go, we'll get into it right away. Japan is setting up. They have 9 loaded transports that have left this sea zone here, and they went 1, 2, 3. So everything's in this sea zone here. They've got 4 loaded carriers, so that's 6 planes in total, and 9 fully loaded transports, and their entire fleet. The Americans and the Canadians here on the West Coast, well, they see what's coming. So currently here in Canada, there is 4 infantry. Behind that in Alberta is an infantry and artillery. And Japan gets to use, they haven't used it yet, if they choose to, 3 sneak attacks. So currently the Americans have in the Western United States an infantry and a anti-aircraft, Southwest United States, an infantry and AAA, and currently in San Francisco they have about 17 ground units sitting there. So they decided to fly their aircraft away because they don't want to lose them. They know they're going to be losing San Francisco if Japan brings everything, and they do not want to sacrifice 7 planes. So currently there's nobody in Hawaii. The torpedo boat and destroyer that were started in the Philippines have made their way across. And the Japanese Navy sitting here in the Carolines at a naval base that can go 3 directions anywhere is set to sort of pounce. Well, it's not really within range of a lot, but it is within range of the convoy zone box here, the convoy zone box here, and the convoy zone box here, and then there's another one over there. So Japan's goal is to probably going to be landing in every single territory along the West Coast, which for America, that's minus 18 IPP, and that's a bonus 18 for Japan, and another 1 in British Columbia. And if they can spare a transport, they'll also be going after Hawaii, which is another 2. Japan did build another 2 naval transports off the east coast of Tokyo with 4 ground units ready to go any direction. Japan just built a minor IC in Peking. But basically they are getting beat up pretty bad over here in China. They are being pushed back by the KMT, who are coming in strong, and they're probably going to be losing Shanghai next turn. In addition to the KMT, who are sort of in a bit of a standoff now with the Japanese, and the Russians are debating whether or not to come in. However, they are currently sort of waiting. They don't have any units that can hit, so if Japan decides to back away, you might see Russia come into the northern Chinese or Japanese territories of northern Manchuria and northern Manchuria. So that's what's happening there. Over here in the Money Islands, the FEC and ANZAC are continuing to get rich or get richer. They've consolidated their Dutch, Australian, New Zealand, and British Navy here off of Singapore, out of range of the Japanese Navy, and they are also set up to attack Siam next turn, so if they choose. They've gobbled up all of the Middle Eastern territories, so they now have, except for Iraq. Iraq is actually pro-Axis, so they are going to have to attack Iraq if they want to. Over here in the Mediterranean, this is the British Navy and the Italian Navy. Now, the British have a scramble from Cairo. The British Navy is currently sitting right here, and the Italian Navy is sitting in the sea zone here. And the Italian Navy has the luxury or the bonus of a double scramble of 6 fighters. So currently the two navies are sort of at pause. Nobody is strong enough to attack anybody, and they're probably stronger on defense. So they continue to build at their minor industrial complexes in Tobruk and Cairo. And so that's what's happening there. In South Africa, the South Africans saved their money turn one, and they built a armor. The British built an artillery. And so, but it's pretty kind of boring here. Everyone's kind of, a bit of a standoff. The British did fly their 2 medium Wellington bombers down from London, and they landed in Algeria. So you'll probably see them next turn land in Cairo. The German battleship that was inherited by the French Navy was unsuccessful in attacking the 2 British destroyers here in the middle of the Atlantic, and it actually went 2 rounds, and the British did not lose a single ship, so that was a mistake for the Germans. However, Germany doesn't really care right now, is because they've attacked East Poland, and they are now getting into position. You see here on the southern flank, getting ready to attack Russia. They're probably not going to attack next turn, because Russia's economy is only at, I think, 18, and if they were to attack next turn, that bumps Russia up to 48. So they're going to be waiting at least another turn to attack Russia. However, all the fast movers that were in Western Europe are starting to make their way across over to Russia. And there's a bit of an air force happening here in Helsinki, and the Russians are starting to bulk up a potential counterattack should the Germans choose to attack next turn or the subsequent turn after. The American Navy currently sitting here just west of Panama. That's the bulk of the American fleet, minus a couple naval transport that's sitting over here off of Washington. This is a Canadian naval transport, and that is the American Air Force just hiding over here in the deep, the Deep South. They've got 5, basically almost an aircraft of almost every type. They've got a tactical bomber, a naval fighter, and a medium bomber, and they have a couple infantry waiting back here in Washington. The Canadians and the British have a amalgamated fleet here with the couple naval transports, and the Russians brought their navy across the Atlantic over off of Newfoundland, and the Canadians built a medium tank and artillery over here in Quebec. So that is it. You should see probably a repositioning round for the Germans. The Italians are probably going to continue to build navy, and over here in Tobruk, and the Japanese sneak attack on the west coast of North America is about to be unleashed. So stay tuned, folks.